Hey Harmonizers! In this video we're going to take a look at Dulcie's last trail ride with us, give you guys a few tips along the way, and then show you our first Christmas parade with our facility. I'll share with you guys a few tips as well. You can see we've got Shiny, Treasure, and Dulcie on this ride, and it was a pretty fun ride. We had a bunch of different students come out. And this is Alicia that I'm riding, and you can see Treasure's in front of me and Dulcie is up ahead. So I decided to take Alicia out. She can be a little bit interesting. Like there she got frustrated because her friend went into the forest ahead of her. So when, and her friend being Nova is a horse she's not turned out in front of or turned out with. So what we tend to do is we start off the ride. We want to really help the horses try to lower their anxiety level. So we try to ride in a nice tight little group. You can see everybody's following kind of nose to tail. Ideally, we don't want the horses feeling like they're getting left behind or that we need to speed up and catch up to each other. So often if a horse gets too far behind, we will have those people stop and then everybody else walks to catch up. And this is a really good way to help make sure that the horses don't think that we have to catch up, we have to catch up, we have to catch up, we have to trot, we have to canter, and get into that whole antsy-prancy mindset. You can see King is way out in front, and that's because he walks really, really fast. And that's because he naturally walks faster than the other horses, and we didn't want him to be constantly pulled back. And Sarah's riding him up front, and we didn't want to be creating a fight with him. And then behind him we have Nova, and Nova is a super well-seasoned trail horse. She does not care in the slightest about anybody or being left behind. So instead of putting a horse like Alicia behind King, where she would feel like she was getting left behind and maybe would get upset, we want to make sure that we're aware of how we're putting the horses in their order. So that way, if we've got a horse who's a fast walker, they're allowed to walk fast to start with. Once the horses get relaxed, then we can start moving around. So here you can see now we're all spread out. This is towards the end of the trail ride. Even now, Alicia is really left behind, and it's no big deal because we took the time to let the horses build up their confidence on the trail and not get upset. So by starting together as a group and not trying to make the horse be comfortable with everything all at once really helps them get settled. That's Khaleesi on the right there, my 2015 America's Most Wanted Thoroughbred. That's Sarah on King, riding him there. We've got our border riding Jazz. There's little Treasure. We've got Abby on Shiny, and then we've got Brooklyn on Dulcie for this ride. So those are a few little tips for preparing for a successful trail ride when you're training little greenies. Now we're going to head off to the parade. So we have Dulcie up at the front there. That's Treasure, who just got on the trailer there, and Shiny's going to get on next. And what we've done is we've got the saddles on the horses, but then we have a blanket over top, and that just helps to keep everything safe where nothing's going to catch on anything because the blanket's over top. So it helps that. This is actually pretty common for horses to get on a trailer with a saddle on in, let's say, polo or in fox hunting. A lot of the time, those people already have the saddles on their horses when they show up to their venues. Especially with fox hunting, because they often trailer to interesting locations where there isn't always a good spot to tie your horse to the trailer and tack up. So we decided to do this for the parade because it's literally a 3-minute drive from my house, but also because just with the amount of people that we had going, and we already had the trailer packed for going to Florida, I thought it'd just be easier, especially in the dark. It's a nighttime parade. We didn't want to be losing tack and everything like that. And little Dare gets to come. So this is a pretty exciting venture because Dare has never been anywhere with us for Evelyn, and it's a light up parade. So that's Shiny. I'm going to be riding Shiny in the parade, and it's a little bit hard to show you guys the setup, but we were setting up on the grass over at the fire hall, and we did a couple trailer trip runs. We ended up with a lot of horses coming down. It was pretty exciting, and we got there an hour or so before the parade, so that way we could allow the horses enough time to graze at the side, that they could relax, that they could see the other floats lining up. You can see in the distance a whole bunch of the different lights of the other different floats. So we wanted to make sure that they felt comfortable, that they had a chance to get acclimatized to everything. And before we got in line with the floats, they got to watch a couple of them go by. Then we went into the line, and it was really the perfect parade because it's our quiet small town, so there were a fair bit of people around, but there were lots of quiet sections. And when we're doing a parade, we want to make sure that we have the most confident horses going first and kind of setting the pace for everybody, so that way the other horses that are younger and greener can kind of feed off of that calm energy. So we started off with Nova and Aspen, who are really well seasoned extreme cowboy horses at the front, and then we had some of the mustangs behind them, and then we had another layer of confident horses again that are well seasoned show horses, and then followed it up with some of the other greener horses at the back. And there's little Evelyn aboard Deer, who had Laura walking with her the whole time just for safety to make sure everything was okay. And there were lots of lights. It was hard to film, especially in the most busy spots. I wanted to make sure I was steering and paying attention to where I was going, but tried to film a few pieces. Here's little Dulcie here. She was starting to get left behind, so Brooklyn came trotting up. If you know you have a horse that doesn't like being at the back or something like that, it's important that you put them in a spot where they feel comfortable during a parade, because that's not really the time to be working on those other pieces. So for Dulcie, she's most comfortable in the middle, so we wanted to make sure she did that. And here's a look at everybody at the parade. We've got 3 Mustangs. There's a couple former rescue horses there. We've got 3 off-the-track Thoroughbreds, including Alicia, Khaleesi, and the other one's Newton there. And then a couple of the other horses being Shiny and Dare. So I hope you guys enjoyed watching that.